The praying skipper 11:47 p.m. Caroline Islands. The waters around Troe were crawling with Japanese destroyers. USS Haddock lay exposed on the surface, her diesel engines thrumming, her hull cutting through the black water with the faint hiss of waves breaking along the bow. Roy Davenport stood in the conning tower, eyes sharp, scanning 3 destroyers closing fast, range 2,000 yards, speed 28 knots. The night was thick, but searchlights pierced it, sweeping across the ocean like sharpened knives, revealing the silhouette of Haddock to anyone watching. In 30 seconds, the destroyers could ram them. In 60, depth charges could crush the submarine and all 72 souls aboard. Most commanders would have dived without hesitation. Not Davenport. He did what submarines were never supposed to do. He aimed directly at the enemy and fired. The odds were overwhelming. Submarines caught on the surface had a 93% casualty rate. Haddock 4 torpedoes. The destroyers had radar, sonar, guns, and enough depth charges to crack her like an eggshell. Haddock could make 20 knots surfaced, the destroyers 28. On paper, survival was impossible. But Davenport had learned a different kind of mathematics. Faith. Prayer. Bone-deep certainty that God's calculations worked differently. He would sink 1 destroyer, escape between the other 2, and complete his patrol, destroying 32,000 tons of enemy shipping without losing a single man. Roy Milton Davenport was born the 18th of June, 1909, in Kansas City, Kansas. His mother, a devout Christian Scientist, taught him that prayer could change outcomes. Some kids outgrow such lessons. He never did. By March 1942. As a lieutenant and executive officer aboard USS Silversides under Commander Cree Burling, Davenport was competent, reliable, and methodical, but unremarkable. Until one day changed everything. 3 Japanese bombers screamed towards Silversides. "Dive! Dive! Dive!" Burling men scrambled down the hatch, panic in their eyes. Davenport waited, timing the bomber's speed, calculating trajectory. Then he dropped through the hatch as the first bomb detonated 10 feet from the hull. The concussion slammed the submarine violently. The second bomb hit. The third. Silversides lurched into an uncontrolled dive. Bow planes jammed at full dive angle. Depth gauge spun past 300 feet. The test depth was 300. At 400, the hull would implode. Davenport calmly stepped to the bow plane mechanism, located the sheared cotter pin, inserted a spare, and tested it. Silversides leveled at 375 feet. 25 feet shy of crushing. The steel groaned, almost like a living thing in pain. Burling's voice broke the silence. "Mr. Davenport just saved 70 lives and didn't break a sweat." Davenport's reply: "Change the pin. Problem solved." That day, Burling realized some men panic under pressure. Others, like Davenport, solve problems. By July 1942, during Silverside's 4th patrol, Davenport faced a stuck torpedo. Half in the tube, half out. If it detonated, the submarine would be ripped in 2. The torpedo room smelled like fear. Hands trembled. Davenport went forward, studied the weapon, and reset the firing mechanism with his bare hands, millimeters from a live warhead. Torpedo 6 slid cleanly from the tube, ran true, and hit its target dead center. Burling recommended him for command. Davenport didn't hope for solutions, he created them. Later, a drunken gunner threatened shipmates with a pistol. Davenport approached steadily, removing the weapon calmly, restraining the man, and returning to his paperwork without raising his voice. Courage alone wasn't enough. Composure under pressure earned him command. March 1943, USS Haddock. Davenport's first command. Morale was low. The previous captain had been removed for circulating satirical poetry mocking Admiral English's staff. Davenport's first words were brief. "I don't write poems. I sink ships. We leave in 4 days. Any questions?" Silence. Good. Dismissed. Haddock's first patrol was audacious. 2 freighters sunk. Depth charge attack survived. The conning tower nearly destroyed at 415 feet. Davenport himself sealed the warp hatch with a sledgehammer as water pressure tried to rip it open. Crew nicknamed him the Praying Skipper, because before every attack, he would stand in the conning tower for exactly 10 seconds, eyes closed, lips moving silently, then declare, "Solutions ready. Fire." Never missed. By August, Davenport had earned his first Navy Cross. By October, his second. Pattern remained the same. Aggressive surface attacks, impossible escapes, 0 casualties. Some called it luck. Davenport called it prayer. The 20th of October, 1943. 7th War Patrol. Target: Tro, Caroline Islands. The most heavily defended Japanese base in the Pacific. 30,000 troops, shore batteries, air patrols, 50 to 80 warships. Intelligence briefed the dangers. Radar, sonar, destroyer patrols run 24-hour coverage. If detected, wolfpack pursuit ensued. Average survival if caught, 32%. Most commanders would study the notes. Davenport asked only one question: when is their shift change? 22:30, 2300 hours. That's when I'll be on the surface, he said. Haddock departed. 72 men, 24 torpedoes, 1 commander with 2 Navy crosses. Davenport studied patrol patterns for 3 days, identifying the 15-minute window when destroyer coverage thinned. The 2nd of November, 0300 hours. Radar contact, 2 ships with escorts. Davenport fired 5 torpedoes. The freighter exploded, broke in half. The escort destroyer hunted them for 90 minutes. Each attack run was anticipated and countered by Davenport's calm, precise maneuvers. Then, 23:30, 3 destroyers approached. Range 12,000 yards. Dive and they would be hunted and destroyed. Surface and run and risk being overtaken. Haddock could not outrun them. Davenport closed his eyes and whispered a prayer. Maintain surface speed. Come right to heading 285. Load tubes 1 through 4. Torpedoes 6 feet deep. At 23:51, 6,000 yards. Searchlights flickered. Haddock surged toward the center destroyer. Torpedoes fired in sequence. First passed, 2nd struck midship, 3rd destroyed forward magazine, 4th missed. The destroyer disintegrated. Men leapt into burning oil. 2 destroyers converged. Haddock could neither outrun nor outdive them. Davenport drove directly between them, chaos and fire masking their path. By dawn, the enemy gave up. Haddock silent at 100 feet, the crew amazed. "How did you know it would work?" asked the executive officer. "I didn't need to know. I needed to believe," Davenport replied. Haddock continued its patrol. The 3rd of November, another convoy. 6 torpedoes at lead tanker, 3 hits. The 5th of November, 2 tankers with escorts, 6 fired, 4 hits. Ships sank. 27 days at sea, 5 ships sunk, 32,000 tons destroyed, 1 destroyer obliterated, 0 casualties. The 16th of November, Pearl Harbor. Word spread. Davenport sank a destroyer on the surface, ran between 2 more, vanished. Officers called it suicide. He called it mathematically superior. Admiral Charles Lockwood asked, "You really pray before attacks?" "Yes, sir. God tells me what's possible. I figure out the rest." The 12th of October, 1944, USS Trepang, 10th Patrol. Radar picked up 2 capital ships with multiple escorts. Davenport fired all 6 bow torpedoes from 3,000 yards. At least 1 hit a cruiser. Destroyers swarmed. He fired 4 stern torpedoes, dove to 400 feet. 47 depth charges over 6 hours. Trap survived, hull groaning, rivets swept, deeper than rated depth. Davenport timed intervals between charges, predicting patterns. Crew in awe. "We survived something that kills submarines, as many times as necessary." He earned his 4th and 5th Navy crosses, only sailor in Navy history with 5. Not Dick O'Kane, not Gene Fluckey. December 1944, Davenport requested shore duty, 10 war patrols, 6 as commanding officer. He promised God he'd quit while his men remained alive. Navy sent him to teach at the academy. He continued service through the Korean War, commanded transports, retired August 1959, promoted Rear Admiral. The 24th of December, 1987, Laguna Hills. Roy Milton Davenport died at 7. Married 52 years, 2 daughters, faithful to Christian Science. Buried at Fort Rosecrans National Cemetery. Headstone reads, Rear Admiral Roy M. Davenport, U.S. Navy, World War II, Korea. No mention of 5 Navy crosses. Some stories don't fit on headstones. Official version. Brilliant tactician, aggressive lucky survivor, 5 Navy crosses, 8 confirmed kills, 0 casualties. Crew version. A man who prayed before every attack, who saw solutions where there were only problems, who turned suicide into survival through faith. Every submarine faced the same ocean, same enemy, same odds. Most followed the manual. Some died. Davenport believed in preparation, conviction, and divine mathematics. Bone-deep belief turned "this will probably kill us" into "this is exactly what we're doing." He never lost a man, never lost faith, never stopped being the kid from Kansas who lure. God's math beats Navy's every time. Some things you never stop being. Roy Davenport never stopped choosing. If not this, then what? If not aggression, then death. If not faith, then fear. If not now, then never. He always chose.